Welcome. I am Kimberly Pinkston, and welcome to Her Story. Okay, tonight, um, the title of the show this week is Hell Knows No Fury, and we are going to talk about abortion rights. Yes, yes. Um, hmm, where do I begin? Let's see. I was so perplexed by the abortion issue till I was just like done, y'all. I was done. When I saw all of this going on, I was just like, you just can't be serious. You cannot be serious. But here we are in the 21st century, 2022, 40 years or almost 50 years of Roe v. Wade being upheld by law. Here we are, where they are trying to overturn the ruling. It's been it's precedent now. It's been challenged numerous times. Everybody's trying to make a woman have a baby for some unknown reason. And like I said, here we are, stuck in the middle. So I decided that today I was going to just voice my opinion. And truly, y'all, this is my opinion. They got nothing to do with the person next door, whoever listening, or whatever. I mean, in America, we've always been afforded the right to choose. You've got people that are pro-life, and then you got people like me who are pro-choice. Doesn't mean I'm against life, but I just think that every woman's circumstance is different, and she knows what's best for her. Period. End of story. So I thought that what I would do is talk a little bit about the decision, in particular, the way that Justice Alito, mm, real special, okay? That Justice Alito, his comments and he's truly a misogynist, y'all. Truly, truly a misogynist. So I don't know what is going on with him. I swear I don't. But at any rate, ignore my phone ringing. It's probably for somebody in my household. But at any rate, I'm going to dive into this and we're going to talk a little bit about what's going on with this, okay? Okay, Justice Alito is on the Supreme Court bench. Old ass white man. Need to sit his ass down somewhere. Need to be at home in the backyard barbecuing and playing with the damn grandkids. But instead, he decides that, him and five other justices. Let's not forget them either. But his opinion was just so outrageous till we just got to talk about it. He based his whole thing, or his whole opinion was based on the what was it, Sir Matthew Hale, who back in the 17th century, y'all. Now y'all know we don't know nothing about the 17th century. We wasn't even there. But Sir Matthew Hale was considered a brilliant jurist back in the day. And in the 17th century, he probably was, because, they went for that foolishness. They didn't know no better. You know what I mean? Back then they thought that women had a place. Sir Matthew Hale believed that a husband could not be guilty of raping his wife because she was his wife and she was supposed to do what he said do, because that's considered matrimonial consent. Foolishness, child. Foolishness. So at any rate, in 2022, this is the reason that Justice Alito feels that Roe v. Wade should be overturned based on some BS from the 17th century. Y'all, I nearly fell out when I saw all of this foolishness. I had to dive deep into it and read and everything. Now, he starts out by saying the Constitution makes no reference to abortion and no such right is implicitly protected by any constitutional provision. Okay, now I'm going to give him props on that because you know what? I read the Constitution and he is right. It's, it is not in the Constitution, but it is an implied right. When they say implicit, it means that it's implied. You assume that this is what's supposed to happen for you because, it just makes common sense. Well, apparently, he said the Constitution doesn't protect women's rights of any kind, as he has so clearly pointed out. And he said there's no room for constitutional change to match a more tolerant or enlightened society. This is what he says. He also thinks that, that a highly disproportionate percentage of aborted fetuses are Black. And he thinks that's a problem. He's trying to frame it that while it's true that Black women do have the highest rate of abortion, that it doesn't take into account that this is considered systemic racism. Okay, let's let that sit right there, y'all. Systemic racism, when the woman has decided to not give birth, that's systemic racism. And why is it systemic racism? Because they think that because Black mothers face severe discrimination, their maternal mortality rate is 3 times that of white women, which is true. And in some states, it's much more dangerous for them to give birth than to have an abortion. So he calls this systemic racism because we choose not to have a baby. Okay, the only thing I can think of is, boys, sit down somewhere, okay? We really don't have time for your foolishness. See, y'all, this is what happened when you don't vote. I'm just going to let y'all know. This is the shit that happens when your ass don't vote. And if you ain't never voted, you need to vote now. Can you imagine if this all goes down like it looks like it is? Because they've got 5 justices that want to overturn Roe v. Wade. Ain't but 9 of them up there, y'all. And whoever, like 5 is more than the 4. Okay, unless somebody changes their mind because they sick of seeing us protest all over TV and all this weekend and everywhere else all around the world. I mean, we just pissed off. Like I said, hell knows no fury like a woman scorned. So I'm going to say it again. Y'all need to get out there and vote. Vote these crazy ass Republicans out of office. They don't even need to think about holding the office until they come to their senses. And it probably won't happen until maybe the next generation. Because, young folks ain't with this foolishness. I think about this. Roe v. Wade came into effect when I was a teenager. I was a teenager when the law became the law of the land. Now, I'm thinking about this. Okay, so I grew up with these rights. My daughters grew up with these rights. And they're like in the prime of their lives, late 30s, early 40s. And now my granddaughters are not even going to have the option? So you're telling me that if somebody rapes them, they have to have the baby of a rapist? Are you serious? Seriously. And then Mitch McConnell, who's the minority leader of the Senate for the Republicans, clearly stated that if the Republicans take back the Senate, y'all, they are going to make it a national law, which means nationwide, no state will have the right to perform abortions. Now let that sink in for a minute. There's no inclusion for incest, no inclusion for rape. And I'm trying to figure this out though. So if you're married and, God forbid somebody attacks you and rapes you, and you got to sit there with your husband and watch a baby grow inside of you that is not even his, what kind of man can stand that scrutiny? I mean, seriously, y'all, what kind of man can stand that scrutiny? That's crazy. That's crazy. It's inhumane. So you're forcing a woman to relive the same trauma over and over and over again. I mean, it doesn't even make sense. The law has been in existence almost 50 years. Almost 50 years, 49 years to be exact. Are we seriously going to let them overturn this and tell a woman what she can and cannot do with her body? That's outrageous. We need to be screaming to the high heavens. And look, I'm going to say this, and I know some people are going to be pissed off, but you know what I always say, it's better to be pissed off than to be pissed on. And before I say what I'm going to say, because I know some people are going to be like, girl, I can't even believe you said it, but I'm going to say it. I'm sure going to say it. I grew up as a preacher's kid. So, y'all really don't have to give me all of that woo, woo, woo about the word of God and this and that, because trust me, I know, and I'm a true believer in him and his works. But God gives us the right to choose. We can either choose to follow him or not. Now let that sink in. And even when you don't follow him, he still loves you, because there's that hope and that faith and that belief that you'll come around to him. Think about that. But man is going to tell a woman what she can do with her body. Stop playing with me, y'all. Stop playing. There's some foolishness here. My question is, have they really, really, really thought about this? Because, some men like to read the menu, and instead of eating at home, they like to do takeout. Y'all know what I mean. All these illicit, affairs and these secret side pieces hanging around. What happens when she gets pregnant with a baby? Okay. Now, and I'm just going to say it because y'all know it's true, and sisters know it better than anybody. Sisters and Latino women, we know. Y'all love y'all some color. These white men, y'all love, especially white men in power, y'all love y'all some color. Y'all keep that shit on the low, but y'all be all in. Be all in. So what happens when you get a woman of color pregnant? There's no more abortions, and she has to have this baby. I'm interested in seeing how you're going to spend this one. I mean, is this the same wife that's going to be so forgiving because she's used to your indiscretions, and she's going to work through them with you because y'all love each other, and she's more concerned about her status in life than she is about the morality of the situation, which says a whole lot for the pro-life crew, because y'all bend the rules all kind of way. Y'all just do. I mean, y'all put Donald Trump in office, and we don't know what the hell happened with that, because as a PK's kid, I know Satan knew the Bible forward and backwards. Y'all let him stand right on up there at the prayer breakfasts, at the all that kind of foolishness. This why we're here now, because of this fool here. And how many times has he been married? So this is a real problem. This is a real problem. So if this becomes the law of the land, then you're going to put a lot of lives in jeopardy. A lot of women are going to be in jeopardy. I mean, think about it. An abortion is not necessarily just because you don't want to have a baby. Sometimes there are cases where you have to have an abortion. You know, there may be something wrong with your pregnancy. You know, the baby maybe, may have some issues, or a woman's going to end up having to carry a baby to term that's stillborn. Or she has a miscarriage and she needs a DNC. I mean, there are a whole host of things that can go wrong, and she needs this type of service to be made whole again. And so all of that is off the table. So there are no laws that govern men and their body parts or their bodies. So I think that if they put this law into effect, perhaps we should have a law that says once the woman is pregnant, since you all seem to think it happens at, conception. Once they're joined together, there's the little egg swimming around, and we're baby's here, baby's on the way. So I think we should have a law that states that if a man gets a woman pregnant, he should have an automatic DNA test right then and there. Oh, y'all, look, technology has evolved. They can figure this out. Automatic DNA test. He should start paying her money immediately once he's determined to be the father. And if he is married, there's a mandatory clause in there that says the wife must be immediately notified, and she must sign off on this. Period. Because if we're going to be one big happy family, we got to make sure that the baby is surrounded by lots of love, and her, his or her stepmama needs to be involved. So now all the little secrets are out in the open, and everyone is happy. Everybody's happy because there's no more secrets. Everybody knows. But I was looking at the news today, and they were talking about, they were in Louisiana, right? They were saying they were having a big discussion. They couldn't get it all together. First, they wanted to charge women with murder if they found out that they had an abortion, and they would spend life in prison. So then they finally got their minds right and decided, well, no, we don't want to do that. But now they're arguing whether women should even have access to an IUD, because that's a form of abortion, because what? It stops them from getting pregnant. So, I mean, at this rate for women, I think the best option is that we go all the way back to the Reagan years when you remember when Nancy Reagan had that slogan about drugs, just say no? We need a just say no slogan for the sex. We're finna cut y'all all the way off because, there are other means that we can be satisfied without y'all, and it don't make no noise, don't give us no drama. We can turn it over and go right to sleep, okay? We really don't have to be bothered with the foolishness because there ain't nobody trying to have all these babies. The fact that you want to force a woman to give birth is the most ludicrous thing I've ever heard in my life, and that you've got these people up here on the bench who think that this is okay to dictate to a woman what she can do with her body. Look, y'all know ain't nothing worse than when a woman is pissed off. I don't care if she's black, white, Asian, Hispanic, indigenous, green, pink hair, purple hair with polka dots in it. You piss a sister off, you got hell on your hands. And if y'all been paying attention to the news, you done pissed off a whole lot of us. A whole lot of us. And us together collectively fighting for the same cause can make your life a living hell. And don't think we won't do it. Don't think we won't do it. So I'm just stating the facts, my opinion, and just trying to say that this thing, if this goes down, y'all, this could end up being bigger than just the right for a woman to have an abortion, because these are considered privacy rights. Okay? A right to privacy. And the fact that Texas already got that crazy ass shit going on down there where, I mean, if you tell on the doctor you can get $10,000, you tell on the person you get another $10,000, they have to put a bounty on a woman's head. Seriously? I mean, some of this stuff is just so 17th century. Tell it doesn't even make sense. So what, we gonna have bounty hunters looking for women who had abortions? Oh yeah, y'all. And look, here's a tip. They are tracking these women by their cell phones. They're tracking these women by their cell phones. So what you're saying is that we got to go back to the old school way and just passing our girlfriends or whoever a note and say, look, in my phone, I'm leaving my phone here so these folks can't find me. And it better be somebody you can trust, because if you tell it to the wrong person, girl, they finna turn you in, for 10 G's. Some of these people will sell their souls for $1. So you need to be real careful who your circle is, because this is serious. This is really very serious. So, and what makes this even worse is that if they overturn this, y'all, they could actually go in and overturn all the other rights. What about, like I said, the right to an abortion, the right to marry whoever you want, the gay rights, you know? I mean, the right to die. What about this? Think about this, y'all. This is bigger than just Roe v. Wade. But right now we're dealing with the Roe v. Wade. But if they get this done, don't think they won't overturn this. But I'm really curious, and this is my question for Justice Clarence Thomas, the good old Southern boy from Georgia who's married to the white woman. Boo, what you gonna do when if your people overturn the law, the right to marry, because they wasn't cool with that interracial thing in the first place, and you on the bench? How you gonna feel about that? Because they're gonna be coming for you next. Just a thought. It's just a thought. I'm just putting it out there. So, like I said, this was just a day based on my own opinion and the Roe v. Wade situation and how perplexed I am about it. But I'm going to tell y'all this. The only way this is going to change is if we vote. We need to vote like hell. And the first thing that we need to ask the candidate, where do you stand? Are you pro-life or pro-choice? Because I'm here in Georgia, and we just pulling for Miss Stacey Abrams. We need to get little Brian Kemp up out of there, because he done already passed his little heartbeat law. I'm just like, seriously, nobody's paying attention, but I bet y'all paying attention now. Y'all need to get current on these events, honey, and y'all need to stay in the know, especially if you are a female, because this affects you. And if you have daughters, granddaughters, this definitely affects you, because y'all see how the crime rate is out here. Now let's think about it. You got some of these women that give it away for free, and you got rapists out here that want to rape these little kids and do all these bad things. What happens if somebody does this to one of your children or your loved ones, and they end up having to carry a baby full term? I mean, come on, y'all. At some point in time, this just does not make sense. Also, we can repopulate the adoption system so the white folks can adopt some beautiful black, biracial, and brown babies. Stop playing with me, y'all. This is serious. This is serious shit. Okay? And that's what I'm going to say about that. It is serious shit. There's no laws that govern a man for what he can do. Why the hell do we need supervision now? Why? Because we balling like y'all? We making our own money moves? You mad? Back in the day, you used to say, get with us. So now we done got with you, so you really mad? You that upset about us? Because we ain't going nowhere. So I might suggest that you get over yourself, because at this point, we have. And we are not going back to the 17th century or to before 1973, where women were having to go in these back alley hole in the walls and having abortions and have coat hangers injected in them or stuck up in them to abort a baby, and a whole lot of women lost their lives. We're not doing that. And we're not going to allow you to tell us what we can and cannot do with our bodies. I mean, some women would like to go to school, build their career, buy their homes, get their cars, get their finances in order before they marry and have children. So you're trying to tell her that if something happens, she is forced to have a baby? Are you serious? If something happens, she has to have the baby? No. What is right about that? And see, this bill, if this goes through, will not hit home with any of these Republican men or the Supreme Court justices until this happens to one of their family, their immediate family members, or somebody that they truly love and care about. But see, by then it'll be too late. It'll be too late, boo, because you already set the shit in motion. So we need to do everything that we can. Black, white, Asian, Hispanic, Latino, every woman and man, because there are a lot of men that don't believe in that. I mean, really? How many brothers want to get the phone call and say, look, dude, I'm pregnant and I gotta have a baby? Seriously? Seriously? It should be her choice. Her body, her choice. Her body, her choice. Let that sink in. Because when it's his body, it's his choice. As the saying goes, mama's baby's daddy maybe. Because daddy can always walk off and run off and pick up a new life and do something with somebody else, but you still stuck with those kids. Because all they know is mama. So let's do the responsible thing here and fight for women to have the right to choose. This does not negate the pro-choice people, because your choice is your choice. But what about our choice? Can we all play in the sandbox together? There's no need to overturn a ruling that has been set for almost 50 years, 49 years to be exact. I mean, come on. It's been challenged over and over, and it still stands. I mean, what the hell is wrong with y'all that you feel you need to force a woman basically into bondage? You're going to make us have a baby. Make us. And if we don't, we go to jail. Do you have that much space in the jails? I mean, seriously, do you have that much space in the jails? Because I'm pretty sure that we done paid enough taxes and worked long enough and stuff, so we cool with our 3 hots in a cot. And y'all know y'all don't want Oprah up in there because she gonna do the interview, Bo. Gonna do the interview. This is ridiculous that we even have to have this conversation in 2022. This is the 21st century, and we're still carrying on like this over abortion rates. Seriously? I mean, it just makes no sense. It's the most asinine thing I've ever heard. And the only reason it's brought up is brought up by what? 4 men and a crazy white woman because she got 8 kids. Lord, she think the rest of us need to have 8. Well, just as Amy Coney Barrett, or whatever the hell your name is, if I was balling like you, making millions of dollars, maybe 8 kids would have been okay. But most of us are not. So I mean, get it together. We're not in that top 1% where we're millionaires or billionaires. We can't afford 8 kids. We struggle like hell with 2. I mean, and for you to even sit there, not get it that you're Catholic and you're very religious and all of that kind of stuff. I get it. But if you're very religious, I'm going there, yeah, I'm going somewhere with this. If you're very religious, then why you judging? Why you judging? I mean, seriously, why you casting judgment on us? I'm just posing the question, y'all. Well, I have enjoyed chatting with you for these last 30 minutes. I hope I've given you something to think about. And most importantly, please make sure you get out and vote, because a whole lot of women's lives depend on it. Vote. I love y'all. I'll see you next Saturday. Bye-bye.